If you're here right now, I want to honor something in you. Something quiet, something strong. You've chosen to go deeper than strategies and signals. You're not here for another shortcut. You're here because you know the truth. Your mind is the real battlefield, and it's time to take control. This is Forex Mind Over Money, where we don't just trade markets, we train the trader. If you're new here, I invite you to subscribe and turn on all notifications, because each week, we bring you the real tools that transform erratic trading into consistent, focused performance. Now, before we begin, type "I am unbreakable" in the comments right now. That phrase isn't just to boost engagement. It's a declaration to your brain. A mental stamp that says, "Today I'm not playing defense, I'm reprogramming everything." You see, Mark Douglas once said, "You don't need to know what's going to happen next in order to make money." What he meant was simple. Outcomes are not the enemy. Attachment to them is. So let me ask you, how many times have you taken a loss and let it define you? How many days have you spent in mental chaos trying to win it back? How many trades have you entered not because they were good, but because you couldn't sit with the pain of losing? This is where everything shifts. Today, I'm going to help you act as if losses no longer bother you, not by pretending, not by suppressing emotions, but by retraining how your brain interprets risk, failure, and uncertainty. Because if you want to trade like a winner, you have to think like one before you ever touch the charts. Let me show you how loss is inevitable. That's not just a trading reality, that's a life truth. But in trading, we are constantly fed this illusion that if we just try harder, study more, control more variables, we'll eliminate loss. That's a trap. The real mastery comes not in avoiding losses, but in no longer fearing them. The most dangerous trader in the room is not the one who wins the most, it's the one who remains calm after they lose. That's the kind of power most traders never taste, because they're still reacting emotionally to outcomes. So what would it look like if you could take a loss, a big one, and walk away unfazed? Not because you're numb, not because you don't care, but because you've trained your identity to no longer hinge on the outcome of a single trade. This isn't spiritual fluff. This is neurological rewiring. Let me explain. When you take a trade and lose, your brain reads that as a threat, and when your survival system is activated, cortisol floods your body, your focus narrows, your judgment collapses. Suddenly, you're back in the market trying to avenge a bruised ego, not execute a proven edge. And that is how accounts are destroyed. The solution? You must train your mind to break the link between loss and danger, between red and failure. Philippians 4-7 says, "And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." This verse isn't just spiritual, it's tactical, because peace is the ultimate edge in higher risk environments. When you carry peace into the market, you don't need revenge trades. When you operate from calm, you stop forcing setups. When you aren't shaken by losses, you execute like a sniper, not a gambler. And here's the paradox. The less you fear losing, the less you lose. Why? Because fear narrows vision, peace expands awareness. Mark Douglas taught that traders must learn to think in probabilities, not certainties. That means every trade is just a data point. It's either part of a profitable system or it's noise. But either way, it's not personal. So today, I invite you to adopt a new identity, not as someone who hates losses, but as someone who absorbs them, learns from them, moves through them like water. Proverbs 24-16 says, "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again." That's you. You will fall, but you will rise again. It's not because you force it, but because you've trained your mind to expect it. And here's the truth. Every loss you've ever had, this wasn't a mistake. It was a mirror, a lesson, a brick in the foundation of your mental edge. Let me ask you something personal. How do you feel after a losing trade? Really feel? Do you feel embarrassed? Angry? Anxious to prove something? You feel like you're behind? Like you need to rush to get it back? If so, your mind hasn't truly accepted the nature of trading, and that internal resistance is costing you far more than the loss ever did. Mark Douglas was relentless about this. The best traders aren't attached to the outcome of any single trade. They know their edge will play out over time. This is your new foundation. But let's go deeper. Here are 3 hidden signs. You're still emotionally enslaved to your losses. You change your system after every loss. You avoid placing trades because you're afraid of being wrong. You overtrade just to make something happen. These are not strategy issues. They're mindset dysfunctions. And here's where most traders miss the mark. They try to fix mental problems with technical solutions. More indicators. More courses. More confirmations. But none of that works until you address the root issue. You've tied your identity to your results. So let's detangle that now. First, recognize that a losing trade is not a reflection of your intelligence, your value, or your potential. It is simply feedback. It's nothing more. Romans 8:1 reminds us, "There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus." That applies here. You are not condemned because of a red candle. You are not less worthy because your stop loss was hit. You are not behind because someone else posted a profit screenshot. This is a long game, and your job is to stay in the game. Detach from needing to be right. Detach from needing to win every trade. Detach from using profits as proof that you're good enough. Because here's the irony. The moment you stop needing to win is the moment you start trading like a winner. That shift is magnetic. It attracts better trades, clearer thinking, most importantly, self-respect. Now let's rebuild that identity. Imagine waking up tomorrow with this mindset. I do not chase trades. I do not fear losses. I do not react to red. I am focused, calm, and dangerous. That is the trader you're becoming. And not because of hype or motivation, because you are reconditioning your brain. You are setting new neural patterns that say, I can be wrong and still be powerful. I can lose money and still gain mastery. I can take a loss and remain in complete peace. Isaiah 26:2-3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." When your trust is in God, not in the market, not in your P&L, not in your last outcome, you become immune to emotional sabotage, and that's where real confidence is born. Let's look at what happens when you don't rewire this. You begin over-identifying with the trade. One loss ruins your week. You avoid charts out of shame. You start changing rules mid-trade. You enter with fear and exit with panic. And worst of all, you forget who you are. That ends now. You are not your result. You are your response. So let's choose a new response. Calm, measured, detached, unshakable. Psalm 112:7 declares, "They will have no fear of bad news. Their hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord." That's the model. It's your blueprint. No fear of bad news. No collapse. Under pressure, just steady movement toward your vision. Asterisk. Let's talk about something few traders ever master. Emotional neutrality. This isn't just about staying calm. It's about removing your emotional identity from the outcome entirely, you see. Most traders react to losses because they don't just lose money. They lose certainty, control, self-worth. But here's the truth. You don't need to feel good to trade well. You just need to feel neutral. Think about it. When you take a winning trade and you're hyped, you start feeling invincible. What's the next move? Overconfidence. When you lose, you feel exposed. What's the next move? Overcorrection, hesitation, revenge trades. Both are emotional. Both are dangerous. What you need is emotional equilibrium, the ability to take a win or a loss and stay centered. Because in trading, overreaction is the most expensive habit you'll ever have. Now here's where things get real. Most people think being neutral means not caring. That's not it. Neutrality means caring deeply about the process, but not about individual outcomes. It means you execute the trade exactly as planned and then walk away. Win or lose, with your head held high. You don't celebrate every win like a lottery ticket. You don't mourn every loss like a funeral. You act as if nothing bothers you because your edge isn't emotional, statistical, and when you think like a statistician, you're no longer threatened by variance. You expect it. You allow it. Plan for it. That's what professional traders do. And that's what you're becoming. Now let's get practical. How do you build this emotional neutrality? It starts with recovery. Not from failure, but from interpretation. Let me explain. Losses don't hurt because they're losses. They hurt because of the story we attach to them. This shouldn't have happened. I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. This always happens to me. Those thoughts are poison. They don't help you analyze. They paralyze you. What you need is a post-loss ritual that realigns your mental state. Here's what top traders do after a loss. Breathe. Slow your heart rate. Loss triggers fight or flight. Interrupt it with breath. Name it. Say this. It's just a trade. This does not define me. Wind. Well. Did you follow your plan? That's what matters. Walk away. Don't stare at charts. Don't overanalyze the loss. Let your nervous system reset. Journal without emotion. Write what happened, what you felt, what you'll do next time. Log it, but don't live in it. This cycle takes minutes, but it can save you from hours of emotional chaos. Because if you don't create space between the loss and your reaction, your brain will seek dopamine relief. That means chasing the next trade just to feel good again. And that's the beginning of destruction. There's something else. You need to visualize neutrality before you feel it. Every day before you trade, picture yourself taking a loss. Not dramatically, not in pain, just breathing, adjusting, and logging it like it's routine. Because once your brain sees it enough times, it stops coding it as a threat. And when it stops being a threat, you stop being afraid of it. This is the exact principle Mark Douglas taught. Trading is not about predicting outcomes. It's about executing a process with consistency. So here's your new identity. You are not a reaction machine. You are a system executor. You are not here to prove something. You're here to follow a plan, win, and you're steady. Lose and you're steady. That's emotional power. And most will never touch it, but you will because you're training for it. Asterisk. Here's a truth very few traders ever accept. Every loss you've ever taken carries a message, but most people never stop long enough to listen. They either run from the pain or bury it under a new trade. That's not mastery. That's escape. Mark Douglas warned that unless you confront your trading behaviors head-on, you'll repeat them again and again no matter how many systems you learn. So let's stop running. Let's pull those old losses back into the light and rewire the story. Think of one trade that still bothers you, a big one, the one that made you question whether you belonged in this game. Now ask yourself, what did that trade really teach me? Not emotionally, but logically. Was it over-leveraged? Was it revenge? Was it a system break? Or was it just a part of the natural probability cycle? Until you stop emotionalizing every loss, your brain will treat each one like a betrayal, not a lesson. But when you review it with clarity, you take your power back. You go from being a victim of the market to being a student of it, and that's the mindset shift. Winners don't avoid pain. They study it. They extract the blueprint from it, and then they build from it. Here's a technique to help reprogram. Past trading trauma. Take your 3 biggest losses. Write down everything that happened. Facts only, no emotion. Then, beside each one, WRITE. What I misunderstood, what I would do differently today? Why this no longer defines me. What you're doing here is recoding the event. Instead of your brain storing it as danger, it now files it as wisdom. That's mental compounding. And it's the fastest way to build experience without adding more pain. Because here's the deal. You're going to lose again. Everyone does. But when the next one comes, it won't shake you. Why? Because you'll see it as part of the game, not an attack on your identity. Now let's talk about the silent confidence that Mark Douglas believed separated the elite. It's not loud. It doesn't need to prove itself. It's calm, disciplined, it's quietly dangerous. You don't get there by faking it. You get there by training your mind every day. Show up without needing a win to feel worthy. This is what creates Unshakable. When you can trade 10 times in a row and not change your tone, your system, or your identity, that's when you're dangerous. Not because you never lose, but because losses no longer shake you. This is what professionals do. They expect drawdowns. They plan for variance. They emotionally detach from results, and they show up the next day like it never happened. You need that level of neutrality, that level of stillness, and it's built like a muscle. Each time you stay calm after a stop-loss journal instead of react, sit in discomfort instead of overtrade, log the trade instead of judge yourself, follow your system without needing it to work right now. You're laying another brick in your foundation. That foundation becomes your fortress. And from that fortress, you build not just trades, but legacy. Asterisk. Let me start with this. If you're waking up and going straight to the charts, you're already too late, because the market is not your opponent. Your mind is. And if you haven't trained that mind before the session, you're walking into a mental war without armor. So now we're going to create a pre-trading ritual designed to do one thing. Program your brain to crave execution, not outcomes. That's the shift. Most traders are unconsciously chasing dopamine wins, profits, instant gratification. But those who master the game rewire their reward system to feel satisfaction from following the process, not just getting a green result. Because when your brain is trained to love, discipline more than reward you, become unstoppable. Let's build that. Here's what your daily pre-trading ritual should look like. No screens, no charts. Just you, your mindset, and your commitment. Step 1. Ground yourself. Sit down. Breathe. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6 seconds. Repeat 3 times. This isn't spiritual fluff, it's nervous system regulation. If your breath is shallow, your focus will be scattered. You want to enter the session with calm, anchored presence. Step 2. Speak your identity out loud. Declare this. I am not here to win trades. I am here to execute like a professional. I follow my plan. I do not chase outcomes. I trust my edge, and I detach from the result. Repetition rewires identity, because if you don't consciously set your intention, your old emotional patterns will hijack your day. Step 3. Mental rehearsal. Visualize yourself entering a clean trade. Win or lose, you follow your rules. You stay calm. You accept the outcome without emotion. You journal. You walk away. This is key. When you mentally rehearse emotional neutrality, you train your subconscious to treat it as familiar. What the mind accepts as normal. It no longer resists. Step 4. Define success. Write this on paper. Success today means full discipline, not profit. Why? Because when discipline becomes your goal, profit becomes the byproduct. But when profit becomes your obsession, discipline gets destroyed. Read that again. This ritual takes 5 minutes, but it gives you an edge. 95% of traders will never develop a steady internal compass that cannot be moved by external noise. And once you have that, you don't flinch when you take a loss. You don't celebrate recklessly when you win. You become predictable to yourself. And that is the highest form of emotional control. Let's take it further. You need to start tracking your emotional performance, not just your P&L. Each day ask yourself, did I follow my plan? Did I trade from logic or from emotion? Did I enter out of confidence or out of fear? Was my identity shaken by today's result? If the answer is no, congratulations. You're winning, even if the trade didn't go your way. Because the goal is not to feel good every day. The goal is to remain centered. That's what Mark Douglas meant when he said, The consistency you seek is in your mind, not the market. Most traders are out here trying to control external randomness, but the elite, they control one thing: themselves. Asterisk. Most traders think the trade ends. When the candle closes, it doesn't. The real trade continues in your mind for minutes, sometimes hours, sometimes days. And if you don't have a post-trade discipline system, you'll silently sabotage everything you just built. So here's the hard truth. You don't rise or fall in the moment of execution. You rise or fall in how you respond after. The outcome: if you win and become arrogant, you lose. If you lose and spiral emotionally, you lose. What matters is not the result. It's the identity, reinforcement loop that follows it. Let me explain. Every time you react emotionally to a trade, you send a message to your subconscious: this is dangerous. This defines me. I can't trust myself. Do that often enough. Your nervous system learns to associate trading with threat. That's when you start hesitating, skipping trades, jumping in late, micromanaging winners, or exiting the moment it goes a few pips against you. You're not broken. You're just untrained. So let's train you now. Here's how elite traders close the loop. Step 1. Immediate reset. After a trade, win or lose, stand up. Leave the screen. Stretch, shake it off. Why? Because motion resets emotion. You need to disconnect your body from the energy of the last trade. Otherwise, your next decision will come from the residue of the past. Step 2. Neutral language. Do not say I messed up. Do not say that was stupid. Do not say I knew I should have. Instead, say that was a clean setup, regardless of outcome. I executed with discipline. I didn't follow my rule. Let's note it and correct. This is important. Words shape memory. Memory shapes emotion. Emotion shapes identity. Step 3. Log with precision, not emotion. Open your journal. Record the setup, your entry and exit. Your reasoning. How you felt before, during, and after. Then note what you do the same and what you do differently. Not to judge, but to program. This is where growth is exponential, because over time you stop reacting and you start refining. Now here's the biggest shift. After a trade, your mind is looking for closure. Most traders give it emotional drama. We'll give it logic. That single decision to reflect with neutrality builds a new neural loop. Trade gives reflect, gives reset, gives improve. That's the loop of mastery. And every time you complete it, your brain starts associating trading not with stress, but with control, not with fear, but with process, not with chaos, but with clarity. And that's how confidence becomes quiet, steady, and unbreakable. Now let me warn you, this takes time. You will fail at it. You will slip. You will have days where you spiral, overtrade, revenge click, or sit in silence full of doubt. That's okay, because the work isn't about perfection. It's about returning to center, returning to process, returning to who you're becoming, not who you were yesterday. And every return is a win. Here's the secret no one talks about. Every reaction you've ever had in trading, every panic sell, every revenge trade, every hesitation, wasn't caused by the market. It was caused by a belief like losing is failure. If I lose money, I'm not good at this. If I lose again, it means I'm not meant to trade. I need to win to feel safe. These are the invisible codes running your mental software. And until you challenge and replace them, you will always trade from fear. Let's fix that now. Your job as a trader is not just to refine your strategy. Your job is to build a belief system that supports elite execution under pressure. So here's the belief system I want you to install line by line. Speak these aloud as you hear them. Losses do not shake me, they shape me. I trust in the long-term probability of my edge. My job is to execute with discipline, not chase outcomes. One trade means nothing. My process means everything. I do not judge myself by results. I judge myself by focus, control, and consistency. The market owes me nothing. I owe myself total emotional control. These are not affirmations. They are commands. They are the operating system of a calm, focused, emotionally bulletproof trader. You do not wait to feel confident. Install confidence by practicing belief until belief becomes identity. Now, let's take it further. You need a code of internal conduct, a personal philosophy that guides you when things go wrong, because the market won't always respect your plan, but your mind can. Here's a sample code. I never respond emotionally to a trade outcome. I never trade to fix a feeling, only to follow a plan. I always pause before placing the next order after a loss. I always close my platform when I feel reactive. I log every trade regardless of outcome and reflect with honesty. I give myself space, not shame, when I break a rule. I restart every day from zero, emotionally clean, mentally sharp. This code becomes your emotional constitution. It's what keeps you stable when your account fluctuates. It's what keeps you grounded when your confidence is tested. It's what allows you to stay in the game long enough to master it. And make no mistake, this is a mastery game, not of the charts, not of the market, but of yourself. Because the trader who learns to remain unmoved always outperforms the one who reacts. So let me ask you, what belief do you need to let go of? What story have you been carrying about loss that no longer serves you? Is it time to release it? Because here's the truth. Losses are neutral. It is your mind that adds weight. And when you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, not through denial, but through training, you rise into the rarest category of traders on earth. Those who are emotionally unfazed, those who do not flinch, those who trade like they've already won. That's the trader you're becoming, not by force, but by internal design. Asterisk, there's a moment in every trader's journey where something clicks. It's not when they finally double their account. It's not when they get funded. It's not even when they hit a winning streak. It's when they realize that peace is more profitable than panic. That trading with a still mind, a quiet ego, and a detached spirit is not only possible, it's the only way to win long term. And that's what this video has been about: rewiring your entire relationship with loss, identity, and control. But here's the most important truth. This mindset is not a one-time decision. It is a daily discipline. If you don't feed it, it fades. If you don't reinforce it, your old habits will come back with force. So now I want to give you a daily identity loop, a process to reinforce this unshakable mindset one day at a time. The daily mental loop of the unshakable trader. 1. Morning, program the identity before the charts. Before your phone, before anything, say this: I do not fear losses. I trade for mastery, not emotion. I execute with calm. I recover with clarity. I'm a professional. This sets the tone too. Mid-session, anchor neutrality before placing trades. Breathe. Inhale, hold, exhale. Scan your body. Are you tense? Are you rushing? Repeat. I am not here to feel better. I am here to follow my plan. 3. After. Trade seal composure, whether you win or lose. Don't celebrate or criticize. Pause, reflect, log, say out loud, that trade is complete. I am still in control. For evening, integrate the lesson. Ask yourself, where did I stay composed today? Where did I slip emotionally? What will I improve tomorrow? A journal one sentence. Today I trained my mind to be unshakable. Micro disciplines, they matter, because they recondition your nervous system. And over time, something incredible happens. You stop caring about being right. You start loving structure. You stop fearing drawdowns. You start seeing this market for what it is, neutral data, and you become unbothered. That's when the game changes. That's when you don't just act like nothing bothers you. Truly believe it. You embody it. You become it. And from that place, you win with grace. You lose with control. And you continue forward with quiet, dangerous composure, just like Mark Douglas taught, just like every top-tier trader lives. And now, just like you, if this message spoke to you, show your commitment. Like this video, comment below with Unshakable and ready, and subscribe to Forex. mind over money, where the real work happens within. Because once your mind is built like this, there's no market, no candle, no red number that can ever control you again. You are the system now. You are the edge, and you are just getting started.